Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is the third mainline entry in the franchise, the second game to feature Ezio Auditore da Firenze, and the first to implement the kick attack. And you know what else it is? It's really easy. So I came up with a way to make it a lot harder. So onto the rules and into the run. First rule, no looting. This includes bodies, chests, bank withdrawals, and pickpocketing. No spending. I can't hire any factions, I can't buy anything from anybody, including medicine and equipment, and I can't complete any renovations, which includes tunnels. Consequentially, no healing, no upgrades, no fast travel. No blending, I can't use any of the hiding spots in the game, no haystacks, roof gardens, benches, or crowds, and if I do end up in one, I must immediately exit regardless of any nearby danger. No weapons or tools, and this also includes the most dangerous weapon in the game, Ezio's fists. I can only use the kick and grab attack. I can also use the unarmed takedown, but only on required targets and only if detection will cause desynchronization. Finally, and obviously, no killing. A target is considered killed if they are not moving or their body disappears. But if another NPC kills them, that's not my fault. A rule does not count as broken if it is required to progress the game. Alright, you catch all that? Let's do it. This game starts off with Ezio, fresh off his photo shoot with the Pope, booting it out of Feetfinder HQ. I charge out into the first combat encounter and I accidentally stabbed 3 people. After reloading, I was starting to relearn the controls again, and this is when I figured out that without a weapon equipped, I can't seem to block effectively. I have to rely on dodging, which is easy, but I had a hard time getting a handle on it through the entire run. So far so good though. Mario does some killing while I struggle a little more with the controls, and it turns out that if they don't aggro on me, I can't kick them. But I didn't kill them, so I just keep going. We get back to the villa and have a few more memories to do. When learning about the cannons, I tried to jump off the wall and kick the dummies, but I couldn't. The next hour of the game is completely inconsequential until we get the perfect close-up of our perfect weapon. The next morning, there's a knock at the door, and it's the CEO of Feetfinder with a sponsorship contract, and he's not taking no for an answer. Ezio wants no part of that, though, so it's time to kick rocks. I get a little footwork done on my way out of the villa, and I'm on my way to start the game. I have to slog through this sequence with Desmond and what's-her-name, then Ezio finally wakes up in Rome and it's time to dig in my heels and show why I'm the fastest foot in Firenze. I rush out to my first mission, which is buying medicine from a doctor. Since this is a requirement to progress and it doesn't actually cost any money, I can just go on with it. I can't throw them away, so I'll just have to not use them. The next mission is a tailing mission, and I have to jump into this haystack. It wouldn't let me out until they started walking away, so there's another one that's required for progress. Most of the memories in the first half of the game will force me to do at least one thing that I'm not supposed to do. Can't blend in with the crowds here, but I don't really need to. Lots of corners to hide around, and when it's time to take these guys out, they won't acknowledge me, so I can't kick them. My only option here is to get them all into a clinch one by one and start laying in some knees. It's not easy defending an ally this way, but we got through it. A little further down the road, we hear a rumor that a fan of Ezio's lives up the hill and wants an autograph, so he signs his name on the bottom of his foot and heads off to see Il Carnefice. We were so happy to meet all these fans that Ezio decided to autograph all their asses. We run back to town, meet up with Machiavelli to continue the beginning tutorial for some reason. He gives me a bunch of money and then forces me to spend it on some shoulder pads and a knife. But since it doesn't cost more than what he gave me and I can't skip this, I take this as the game just giving me the starting gear, and I don't worry about it. I got bored following Machiavelli around, so I grabbed this dude, beat crap out of him, and to show that I'm an equal opportunity offender, I also beat up this lady. Now I'm after my first Borgia captain, and this is the first fight that poses any kind of actual challenge. It's a really small area we fight in, and there's a lot of guards that swarm in. I managed to get them out into the open, and it's a clean run to the W. I burn the tower down, and as my reward, Machiavelli lets me fix the roof on his barn. Still running errands for Machiavelli, I end up getting jumped by a bunch of followers of Romulus. These guys can be tough in a group this size because they're agile and they have an attack combo that requires 2 dodges before I can land a counter kick. The good news is that they're not very tough, and once you wear them down a little and start landing some kicks, they all fall pretty quickly. I got through the lair of Romulus. I encountered this dummy who isn't even painting what he's looking at, so I kicked the shit out of him, and now I can go back to the hideout and begin the faction missions. I start with the Thieves Guild and meet La Volpe, who says we have to spy on Machiavelli. While doing that, his buddy's kid gets hurt and we gotta jump in and help. Archers are weak and don't take much to put down, so defending this kid's pretty easy, and I had to climb up here and save this guy's life by shattering his pelvis. Now I have to get this dude to safety without being detected. And you'd think that not being able to blend in with crowds would make this section really hard. And I thought so too, but it takes so long for the detection meters to fill that I can just run past everyone and it's already over. Volpe says he trusts me now, so we rebuild his house and I'm off to the Mercenaries Guild to see Bartolomeo. And when I get there, he reveals that he wants me to beat up a Borgia captain for him. This captain's not too hard as long as you're quick. If you catch him early, then there won't be any guards jumping in on the fight, and you could just drag him around the corner and whip his ass. He tried to teleport away, but I stayed on him and knocked him out. And that act was enough to earn the trust of the mercenaries, which unlocks the assassin contracts and sends me off to the brothel. I can't go there with empty pockets though, so I accept an assassination contract and stop by a Borgia tower on the way. I clear the whole area, I take out my 2 contract targets, leaving me with more than enough. When he gets there, we decide we need Madame Solari out of the way, so we pay these guys on the boat to kill her. They say they want more money, but we don't play that, so we decide they all get nothing now. This fight is probably the hardest of the entire run. There are 7 of these guys, and they're all agile. They dodge almost every kick. The only way to get them is to grab them and knee them, or dodge and counter kick. The grab attack is too slow, and I run the risk of accidentally throwing them in the water. I keep throwing kicks though, because sometimes you get lucky and they don't dodge. There are also 2 groups of patrolling guards who occasionally join the fight, bringing the possible number of enemies up to 15. Those regular guards don't dodge the kicks, so that makes it a little bit more fun, but with only that 1 health segment, which takes 3 seconds to regenerate, I need to be really careful. And why am I still talking about it? Well, I'm trying to fill time so I can show you more of it. This shit took me 45 minutes and my thumb hurt a lot. Anyway, back to the brothel to celebrate, but Ezio's sister is all like, well, you got the money, didn't you? So shouldn't we be spending it here? We need sheets, we need pillowcases, and we need a pressure washer. And Ezio tells her to fuck off, but that's not good enough and I have to pay the money. And as if that wasn't bad enough, now we find out that Patrick Nielsen's girlfriend has abducted Ezio's biggest fan and is holding her at Feedfinder headquarters. Not to be swayed by this obviously terrible negotiation tactic, I make sure to dislocate every hip I pass on the way to her. The key is upstairs, so I run up there to confront Lucy, and of course she's got to start yapping.
Good. Tell Cesare. We shall see how it feels when the shoe is on the other
Blah,
foot.
blah, blah. Fuck you, give me the key. I have to kick through a bunch of guards before taking her hostage and heading downstairs. She keeps calling more guards, but she's so enamored by Ezio's masterful kicking skills that she forgets to run away. I grab her again, unlock the door, and rescue Fangirl. On the way out, she asks for his number, and he tells her that they should just stay friends. After escaping, we get an encounter tailor-made for this challenge run. All I have to do is survive a minute and a half, and when you're deliberately using only the weakest possible attacks, a minute and a half ain't shit. I actually did a surprising amount of damage through this too, and since I can't hide from them anyway, I decided to spend 10 more minutes beating up the rest of these guys. Next order of business is to rescue some freelance foot models. Their attackers won't focus on me, so I can only grab attack them. These guys don't have health bars though, so I'm pretty sure I have all the time I need. So once that's done, they thank Ezio and invite him to do a collab. He says, yeah, totally, and we never see these people again. The next day, while out looking for some trim, Ezio finds another dead hooker, and he's getting real tired of this, so the girls point the way and we chase down the culprit. This guy was tough because this is technically still a tutorial for the assassin recruits, so he won't fight me. I can't kick him and he blocks every grab attempt. My only choice was an unarmed takedown, which technically fails the challenge because I'm only supposed to use that when detection is a fail condition. What's worse is that in spamming the button trying to kick him, I accidentally robbed him and didn't even notice. Did you spot it? I'll wear that 99 in the bottom corner as a badge of dishonor for the rest of the run. Later that day, Ezio's just out freeing some slaves when he gets a call from his old agent.
Psst, Ezio, over here.
It was a very happy reunion until we find out he's only here trying to make a sale, so Ezio tells him to get to steppin'. Leonardo takes off and we gonna go blow up a machine gun. This area is a bit of a challenge. Usually I just hop up the walls and run straight to the objective. There are 2 guys you kill from hiding spots and then you're done in under a minute. This time though, if I'm detected, I fail, and these guys are not required targets, so I can't take them out. I have to find a new route that gets me there without being seen. After some trial and error, I found the way, and here we have another forced fail. I have to set off this explosion, killing these 3 men in the process. There's no way around it, so I just carry on and we get to this part. I tried a few times to get through here without firing the weapon at all, but there's just no way. But I have access to knowledge that most people don't. I know that only one horse dies in this game, and it doesn't happen here. When we shoot these horses, they get back up, and we can't prove any of these guys died when they fell off their horses, so I decide that as long as I try to aim at the horse's feet, I can choose to believe that I got through here without killing anybody. I'm pretty disappointed that the rest of the Da Vinci war machines aren't part of this run. They are the best part of this game. Well, I have a senator's save, and this guy fucking pissed me off. I spent over an hour kicking guards because he kept running out in front of them until finally I found the right path to take, and that I only have to take out these 4 guards. Oh well, live and learn. After a very long tailing mission, I now have to get from the roof of the Pantheon down to the floor and take out the guy in here. If he detects me, I'm done, so I have to use an unarmed takedown. That's easier said than done because this asshole is scripted to turn around when you get close to him. It took a few tries, but I eventually did get him, and this all leads to one of my favorite assassination missions, and one I was pretty sure was going to cause some trouble. The first part was the same as usual because there's this really easy path going along the right side, but the next part took a little finessing, but I was pretty proud of myself for finding this route. You gotta turn around and climb the church, and then get over here. This gets him moving again after he buys that lady's daughter over here, and then you gotta climb back over the church and get to here so you can run across and hit the checkpoint. Many times I've done this mission, I thought about going around the outside of the party, but I never have because I always want to do the bench kill. So since I can't blend, I finally get my chance, and it worked beautifully. There was one guard off to the side who could see me, so I just stayed vigilant and waited for him to look away. And I realized right here that I have enough time to get up and get to the banker before his bodyguard sees me. So I made a break for it, and I got him on the first try. I kicked down a few more guards, and then I got the hell out of there. With the banker injured and having learned a lesson, I can start the next memory sequence, which takes us back to Bartolomeo. Here we have to fight off the entire French army, and this sequence is exactly the same with or without challenge rules because the trick here is just keep running in circles until they all bunch up on one side, and then you have all the time you need to work the controls. So once we close all 3, we have a quick chat with John Cleese, and we find out there's been another kidnapping. They have a meeting to decide what to do about it, and Ezio has the bright idea to just pretend we're French and walk in the front door. And everyone praises him for his brilliant plan. Now I have to go beat up 20 French guards and take their shoes. This part was actually really hard and I died a few times, but for every 5 of them you beat up, you get a checkpoint. So once I figured that out, I just kept going back to the same place and beating up the same 5 guys. Once we got their shoes on, we all go for a walk downtown. This is another place where you're supposed to use the assassin recruits, so it was a little tricky. I have to use an unarmed takedown on all these targets without being seen or heard. The first section was really hard, but once I figured out the route, it only took a few seconds. And notice that I was detected here and desynced, but I hit a checkpoint, so whatever. Doesn't break any of my rules, I really don't care. The next 2 sections are easy enough. Took a couple run-throughs to find the right route, then executed the plan perfectly so I could move on to the boss. And this guy is hard. If anyone sees you at all, it's over. I blew it a few times, but just like most stealth sections, it's just a matter of finding the right route and timing. So with a little bit of patience and a little bit of practice, I found a way to go without breaking any rules, give me the perfect edge to swoop in and stomp John Cleese all the way to New Zealand. Now we're back chilling at the Thieves Guild. La Volpe tells us that Peter North has been spotted in town, and we all decide that we have to go get an autograph. So we're going out to find him. It's a grueling journey where we have to stop and fight a few times, but I can tell we're getting close because there's a bunch of strippers over here watching. Unfortunately, Peter North isn't here, but this homeless dude says that he went to a party down the street, so we head that way. And when we get there, the bouncer says we don't have enough chicks with us to get in, so I have to hit up a Borgia Tower and pick up a few more recruits before I can come back and talk to the bouncer again. He says he still can't let us in, so Ezio hatches a plan to steal some costumes and sneak onto the set of Peter's newest movie. It requires following Fat Mike, which goes as expected, right up until I see this guy. What you're supposed to do here is use the assassin recruits to take this guy out and keep tailing Mikey, but I can't do that. I tried a dozen times to beat this guy up, and there's just no way to do it without being either detected or left behind. So I had to get around him and use an unarmed takedown. I don't feel good about it though. He is a required target, but the fact that I can enter open conflict with him means I should have to kick him. and it bothers me enough that I restarted the entire memory just to try a few more times, but ultimately the takedown is the only way to get past this point. Next encounter is a little easier. There's this guy up here, and I could just sneak past him, but I'm still a little upset about that takedown, so fuck him. Figure out that all I have to do is beat these two guys down before that timer runs out. So I fly in kicking hard and fast, I make it look easy, and I'm back after Mike to the third encounter. This one was bizarre. I need to take out these three guys fast enough to keep the tail up. Biggest problems are that when I enter open conflict, either I'm too close and he spots me, or a bunch of other guards jump in on the fight and I don't have enough time. I tried a few different things that ultimately didn't work, but then I thought to come in from the far side. Went hard on all three guys at the same time, and I noticed Mike's detection meter going up, but it was just that. If it's still going up, it means I haven't been detected yet. So I calmly walk back around the crumbled column, and it breaks his line of sight, and what do you know? It worked. So I pulled off some real Batman shit here. This guy was standing 3 feet away from me, watching his buddies get their asses kicked, but just couldn't get a good look at who was doing it. With my surprising success, Ezio is finally going to the movie set. The doorman says I gotta go up and meet the camera crew first. This part is usually pretty hard. You gotta finish off these 4 guys one at a time without any of the other guys seeing you do it. And now that I can't use any silent attacks and I can't hide from them, it's just infuriating. I really shouldn't be this hard, and I'm a little embarrassed, but I slog through it and I get Ezio one step closer to meeting his hero. As I'm walking in, I notice that I can't unequip the hidden blade. I was pressing the fist equip button the entire time just in case the rules changed at some point, but nothing did. And when I finally got to the front of the line, Mike thought he could cut in front of me, and since I couldn't change my weapon, I was forced to stab him. And I was pissed about this, but then at the end of the cutscene, Ezio lets him live, so I guess it's alright. Ezio finally gets to meet his hero, and he tells him that they've made him do 4 money shots already today, and he needs a doctor bad. Ezio is ecstatic to help him out, and we run off to save his life. They have a little chat, and Ezio gets his autograph, but then it's cut short when Ezio sees Rick, his old college roommate. That guy owes us $20, and it's time to go. Bro kept in shape from his track days, and he wasn't easy to chase down. I get home, and Ezio's sister is there with bad news. She says Feetfinder has stolen all of his exclusive pics and is threatening to release them for free if he doesn't sign the exclusivity contract. We have no choice but to go steal the hard drive. I break into their headquarters again, overhear a private conversation between Patrick and his girlfriend.
You are my sister, nothing more.
And now I gotta run to the server room, and I get lucky that only a couple guys followed me in so I could beat the timer, retrieve my files, and fuck off down the road. When I get home, Claudia says that Patrick Nielsen is plotting to beat up Ezio and keep him in captivity. Ezio says nuts to that, and we gotta track him down. Start by tracking down one of his friends, and I still have the apple equipped, so to avoid using it, I have to stay undetected. And doing so is not easy because I ran around this tiny little area for over 15 minutes trying to find this guy. When I finally follow him into the Colosseum, I have to fight off his foot soldiers, but I still can't kick, and I have no choice but to use the apple. There are 3 different effects it can have. In the gold outer circle, it will either force a surrender or cause a berserk effect where they attack their friends. In the white inner circle, it will cause what looks like a ruptured brain aneurysm, but they all survive it. Problem here is that it uses my health as ammunition, and with a health pool this small, there's no way for me to just aneurysm everybody. I mean, yeah, you probably can just aneurysm everybody, and yes, I probably could have tried harder, but if they'd just let me kick while I'm holding the damn apple, it would already be over and we wouldn't be having this conversation. Anyway, next encounter, I just have to wait out a timer, and I don't use the apple at all. Then our buddy Mike shows up to remind Mr. Nielsen that he promised to take his wife on a date, and it's time to go.
Chains will not hold me! I will not die by the hands of man!
Ezio stops by Leonardo's place to drop off the hard drive, and he's going, "Yo, he did all that to you, and you just gotta let him go on a date with his wife? You gotta crash that shit." And Ezio was like, "You know what, you're right. Fuck that guy." And off we go. I catch up with him, but his goons gang up on me until they all blow up in my face.
Explosion.
And hey, you remember when I was talking about the horses and I said that one's gonna die? It's this one. I have to chase him through a war zone, which is kind of fun. There's some running and some climbing and some fighting and some stealthing, but it's all about the big finish and the final boss fight. And this wasn't easy by any means. The final successful attempt alone was 7 solid minutes of kicking. After a couple attempts, I learned that beating down his guards is pointless. They keep coming out at regular intervals anyway, so it's better to just go straight for the boss. I was working him over real good and should have only been a minute away from victory when I did something that I hadn't done the entire run. I accidentally healed, so I had to let them kill me. I wanted to show you the entire battle, but as I got later into the recordings, they started glitching more and more, and I lost a big portion of this fight, so we'll have to just watch the ending. And that's it. There's some shit we gotta do with Desmond, and we finally let Kristen Bell free of her contract, and we at last answer the question. Can you beat Assassin's Creed Brotherhood with all these stupid rules that I made up? No, not really. But at the same time, yeah, kinda. Anyways, that's the end. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And most importantly, stay crunchy. Goodbye.